Spinal Flow 2. Don't worry about the small dog. This is Ronnie. You might see him in the camera as he comes in and out of shot. So starting in your crook position, again, lying down onto the mat, feet about hip distance apart, knees pointing up towards the ceiling and heels nice and close up towards the hips. So again, be moving through the spine, flexion, extension, rotation, lateral flexion. Starting with our pelvic tilts. So inhale, arch, lower back will lift off the mat, and then exhale, tuck under and flatten the lower back to the mat. Keep the bum on the mat at all times through this. Inhale, arch, and exhale, tuck under. One more like that. Inhale, arch, lower back lifts off the mat, bring the pelvis into an anterior tilt, and exhale, tuck under and bring the pelvis into a posterior tilt. Inhale again, arch, exhale, tuck under, press into the feet and slowly begin to lift first the base of the spine up off the mat, then the lower back, the middle of your back, the upper back coming to the tops of the shoulders. Pause here for a moment, and then you're going to take the arms up overhead. Bring the arms alongside the ears, keeping the arms where they are, and slowly peeling or placing the spine back down on the mat, vertebra by vertebra. Starting with the top of the spine and working through to the base of the spine. When the hips are down, bring the arms back alongside the body. So maybe get a little stretch here through the shoulders as well. One more like that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, tuck under. Slowly peeling the spine up off the mat, getting that lovely spinal articulation. Spine moving nice and healthy. Come to the tops of the shoulders and then take the arms up overhead. Maybe this time just stretch out through the fingers a little, stretch out through the arms as you place first the shoulder blades, the scapula down on the mat, the lower ribs, the middle of your spine, the lower back, and then the hips. Bring the arms back alongside the body. Take the arms slightly away from you, palms to face up. Take the feet out wider apart to the outside edges of your mat. And then windshield wipe at the knees. So we're going to drop the knees over towards the right, nice and heavy. Lift them back up to center and drop them over towards the left. Notice how the lower back turns or rotates. Lift them back up to center. Drop them over towards the right. Lift them back up to center and drop them over towards the left. Lifting the knees back up to center, bring the legs together and stretch the legs out along the mat. Bring the hands onto the tops of the hips or front of the hip bones. So we're going to do a lateral hitch. We want the hip to slightly drop down on one side, keeping the rest of the body on the mat. In fact, all the body on the mat, I should say. So we're going to stretch the right leg away. Feel like the right hip is slightly dropping away from you. Inhale, bring it back to center, and exhale, stretch the left toes away. Imagine I'm pulling on your toes. Bring it back to center. Stretch the right leg away, stretching out through the right side, right toes, back to center. And exhale, stretch the left leg away. Left hip drops down, back to center. Now we're going to take the arms up overhead, and we're going to do this with the arms as well as the legs. So inhale, nice deep breath in, and exhale, stretch right fingers away, right toes, lengthen through the right side of the body. Bring it back to center. And stretch left toes away, left arm. Bring it back to center, one more time on each side. Right arm stretches away, right toes, lengthen through that right waist. Back to center. And stretch left arm away, left toes, stretching through the left waist. Back to center. Bring the arms back alongside the body. Bend the knees into the chest. Taking the hands behind the knees. Either rock over onto one side, or we're going to rock and roll a few times up and down the mat, coming up to sit. So inhale, rock up, exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock up, exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock all the way up to sit. making your way into a 4-point kneeling position on your mat. So hands and knees onto the mat. You want the hands kind of underneath the shoulders and knees kind of underneath the hips. Toes either tucked under or pointed, whatever is most comfortable, natural for your feet. So continuing moving through the spine, flexion extension here. We're going to inhale, drop the belly down towards the mat, arching the spine and lifting head and hips. Try and broaden through the front of the chest. And then exhale, round the back, tuck the tailbone under like we did on the mat and dome through the upper back. Couple more like this. Inhale again, arch. Try and make the movement nice and fluid. And exhale, round the spine. Feel like the shoulder blades are coming apart. Inhale again, arch. Lots of movement through the spine. Bring the shoulders back into the sockets. And exhale, round. Coming back to your flat neutral spine, bring the knees together. You're now going to walk the hands over to the right, taking the left hand on top of right, and diagonally take the hips back to the left. Getting a side stretch here. Head nice and heavy. Kind of torpedo position with the arms. Inhale, rising up. Walk the hands across the mat to the left. Right hand on top of left. And diagonally sit those hips back to the right. Inhale, we rise up. One more time on each side. So taking the hands over to the right, left hand on top of right. And diagonally sit those hips back to the left. Maybe just tilt left armpit, shoulder up slightly. Notice if this changes the stretch for you. Inhale, we rise up, walk hands across the mat to the left, right hand on top of left, and diagonally we sit the hips back to the right. Tilt right shoulder up. Inhale, slowly rising up. Again, place the hands onto the mat underneath the shoulders. Separate the knees about hip distance apart and parallel. So thread the needle, a little bit of rotation and also stretching through the thoracic spine. So we're going to lift the left arm up, open through the chest, and then we're going to thread it through in between right hand, right knee, coming down onto the left side of the face, left shoulder down towards the mat, and then stretch your right arm out. If your left shoulder doesn't come down to the mat, you can always place a block underneath your shoulder and your head, or a cushion. A couple of nice deep breaths here. Think about sinking the left shoulder down to the mat, but also sinking the right shoulder down to the mat. Inhale, bringing right hand back towards your face. Press into the hand, rise up. Open through the arm, notice if it feels any different, and then place the hand back down. Other side. Right arm lifts, open through the chest, and then we thread it through. This time coming down onto the right shoulder, right side of the face. Stretch those right fingers out, stretch those left fingers out. Sinking down heavy onto the right shoulder, but also sink that left shoulder down towards the mat. Maybe feeling a stretch here through the deltoid muscles on the outsides of the shoulders, the upper back. Nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Bringing your left hand back towards your face, press into the hand to rise up. Reach the right arm up. And then place it back down onto the mat. So that's your spinal flow 2.